Welcome to Deep in State, presented by 𝐒𝐮𝐲. I'm Nick Hawks, and today's guests are Jack and RJ, community managers from Metablox. This episode is sponsored by 𝐒𝐮𝐲 Builders. If you're pushing limits of what's possible on chain, you should build your own rollup with 𝐒𝐮𝐲. We'll have a little bit more on them later in the show. Before we get started, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe. That helps alert you when the next episode drops and helps us bring great guests like RJ and Jack on board. RJ and Jack, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Nick. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for inviting. Really glad to be here. Really excited to share news about Metablox and what we're doing today.
Guys, walk me through what is Metablox? What does it do? Let's start there.
Yes, sir. So Metablox is basically building a decentralized Wi-Fi open roaming network that delivers automatic connections from numerous locations around the world. We are working very hard to make our routers easy to use, accessible, and they're of high security protocol grade. And for the connections, users don't really have to create or manually log into any Wi-Fi network. Once you have a registered account on our app and you just walk into a zone where the Metablox network is available, your phone or your device would be automatically connected to the network. So with Metablox, you'll be a part of the global decentralized Wi-Fi network that brings enterprise level Wi-Fi to regular people, and you will enjoy higher security, better internet, and at the same time, you will be earning rewards and mining. So it is a win-win situation overall.
Super cool.
So
Nice.
What we are doing, we're enabling this Wi-Fi all around the world. We already have it in several places. Mainly before we were working with United Arab Emirates, with Canada, but now we have several routers in Norway, a lot of in US, as well as
Yep.
Philippines. So right now, what we would like to highlight, we have our over 6 million location, gonna have a 6 million location by 2025 with our partners from WBA. It's a wireless broadband alliance. It's our partners. We have already more than 2 million points that you would be able to access with our app.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me sure I'm getting that right. So if I download the app right now, you said it says 3 million on the slide, but there's a bunch of spots right now that I can use, like as of today, June 23rd, or that's coming soon.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of places where you can use the Metablox network already.
Okay.
For that, you just need to download the app, create an account once, and so that your phone has the settings saved in it, and then you
Sure.
can just use the networks wherever it's possible. But he mentioned that we're trying to get to 6 million locations by 2025.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you're growing. And then I'm assuming there's a map where I can see the location so I can see if there's Metablox coverage where I'm going?
It is. So our app covers the map, and you can pretty much see everything on the app. Once you download it, it's going to show you all the possible network connections close to you.
Yes,
Cool.
all the Metablox routers that they have in the area, and also
Nice.
we have our wireless broadband alliance locations that you'll be able to connect as well. So this is actually very interesting technology because we are working. We're really care about the privacy of the people that we work with. So that's why we enable a DID. It's a decentralized identity, and that is connected with the Wi-Fi. So it pretty much allows people to connect to the Wi-Fi, sharing only information that they would like to share. So, for example, imagine when you connect to the Wi-Fi, you want to name yourself, oh, I'm Jack. And that's the only thing that they will know about you, that you're Jack and that you're connected to Wi-Fi. So that's how we're bringing the ownership of the data back to users. And that's what is important for us, is to make everything decentralized, make it safe, and make it private.
Got it. And you guys have, let's see, two things, the decentralized identifiers and then the verifiable credentials. Because there's two sides. Like, you don't want dirtbags coming on the network who are using the anonymity for bad things. How are you kind of walking that line?
So that is true. With the two things that we're doing is DIDs are right now we're saving the DIDs on the Harmony One blockchain. And again, since everything is on the blockchain and nothing can be duplicated and nothing can be copied and essentially hacked or essentially taken advantage of. So that is the main reason why we're using DID. And with the VCs, we try to create we're trying to create a unique profile, for lack of a better word, for everybody, so that not, as you mentioned, the bad guys can come in and take over the network and steal your
Sure.
data and steal your credentials.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And then, so on the user side, you need an app. On the provider side, I'm guessing someone needs to buy one of these miners and they put it up in their house or a business, and it provides like an additional Wi-Fi network on top of what they already have, or is the intent to replace what
Yeah,
people
so
have?
the miner is not only targeted for a merchant. A user can put up a miner in their own house as well. But for a user point of view, you just need to download the app, create your unique account, and then you can pretty much connect to any miner that's available within your network range. And we have also built in a check-in feature. So, for example, you have a coffee shop and you use our miner as the Wi-Fi provider. So any user that comes into your coffee shop can check in, and for every check-in every day, they earn some points, which in turn can be staked, and then users can be earning Metablox tokens from that. So as a merchant and as a user, it's both of the parties are being rewarded to use the network that we're trying to build.
Yes, and the
Got it.
smart part about it, this check-in on the back end is actually a validation of the network. So in this way, we're killing both of the rabbits in one shot. That's what
Yeah,
makes it nice, and that's what makes it smart.
got it. Got it. Um, I'm laughing because we'll say two birds with one stone. I haven't heard two rabbits, one shot. That'd be a pretty good trick shot. Let's see now. What are the basics? So I guess technically the person is reselling. Like if I get one of these miners and I put it up in my little dessert shop, and I'm putting it out there and getting people are paying for it, it's reselling. What's the plan to address that with the ISP saying that you can't resell your Wi-Fi under their TOS terms of service?
Well, essentially, whenever you put up a router using an ISP, you can add a booster, you can add a network expander, and stuff like that. So I don't think that is essentially an issue. But so similarly to that, our miner is basically a one plug solution. You can add it to your existing Wi-Fi router and then use our technology to further break your network into different segments. Like we offer three network breakages from the start. One is private, one is open roaming, and one is public. So
Hmm.
ISPs should technically not have a problem with it. And as well as with that, we also have a partnership with WBA. So WBA is the association which basically creates all the protocols for Wi-Fi. And we are the number one Web3 solution in partnership with WBA. So essentially, we're trying to push the Web 2.0 people onto Web3. Um, and if ISPs do have a problem, they should try to adapt into the Metablox network because they are gonna like this network for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about. And I don't. Yeah, I'm cautious about saying the ISPs won't care about that. I think, in general with these DePIN projects, all of us are so small that none of the big telcos are really kind of thinking about targeting it yet. But man, I think there's got to be a better answer than that, because I think they can make that argument pretty successfully. Okay, so people buy. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. People buy the miner, and are the miners for sale right now?
Yeah, so we
Okay.
launched our miner sale on June 1st, and right now we have an early bird sale going on as well, which is going
Okay.
to give you a 20% discount on the cost price of the miners. So, yes, they're on sale. They're available on our website. We are shipping globally, but there are some shipping constraints to some specific countries. But in general, we're shipping globally, and it is on sale.
Cool. Rad. We'll make sure we have a link down in the description. We're going to take a quick sponsorship break here. One of the cool things about this show is that we get to talk to folks like you, and also people who are a little bit more behind the scenes and helping out DePIN projects on the back end. One of those is today's show sponsor, Eclipse Builders. They are a customizable rollup provider deploying app-specific chains for several DePIN projects. You guys should check them out. They allow you to pick your virtual machine, your base layer, and additional customizations to enable new functionality for your D app. So if you're looking for someone someone to help you build your blockchain solution, eclipse is an excellent choice. They're committed to helping projects build across the DePIN space, and check them out at eclipse.builders, or you can hit the card above or the link below. Ripping. All right, guys. So I guess that brings up the point: is what chain are you guys on? I think you mentioned it earlier, but just to put a point on it.
So we are building on an Ethereum chain, and our DIDs right now are being saved on the Harmony chain. But
Okay.
as you know, that Ethereum in itself has scaling problems and gas fee issues and more issues like that. So for that, we aim to be wrapped up on few other chains such as Polygon or Arbitrum, but we cannot comment on that right now, which chain we will be using. But to address those issues, we will be wrapping our token on a few other chains.
Cool.
But right now, we're building on the Ethereum chain.
Yeah, so
cool. I mean, it sounds like Go ahead.
Go ahead. So what we're trying to do, I want to say that we always try to find a better solution, so the users of our network would be able to get like a better service, something, and also our community always welcome to give their comments, share their ideas, and we always listen to them.
Cool. Super. Well, I'll make sure that I introduce you to Neil over at Eclipse, because this sounds like the perfect case for that. And at least it's worth the conversation. Let's see. Let's talk about TGEs, token generation events. Do you want to walk me through kind of how that whole thing works?
Yes, sir. So we are aiming for Q3 for the TGE, and we will be having an IDO. I cannot announce the platform just yet, or the exact date just yet, but Q3 is what we're aiming for the TGE.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to have you back on when you guys are going to make that announcement. Make sure that we get the word out. I guess the next question that I've got is, I've already got a Wi-Fi network at home and at my business. I guess the main reason I'd want to replace them is that this thing now earns me tokens, but gotta be honest, I spent a lot of money on that Wi-Fi equipment. I don't want to throw it out. Is this something that will work alongside that without kind of gumming up the airwaves, or how are you guys thinking about that?
Yes. So as I mentioned, that the Metablox miner is pretty much a one plug solution. You just literally plug it into your Ethernet cable with your existing Wi-Fi equipment that you spent a lot of money on, which does not earn you mining rewards, by the way. And you just plug it into your system. We do not interfere with the bandwidth. We pretty much use the exact same bandwidth that is being provided with your existing network hardware. You can, with the Metablox router, you can pretty much decide how you want to divide the bandwidth with, like how much bandwidth you want to provide to the open roaming network, how much bandwidth you want to provide to the private network that you use at home, and how much you want to provide to the public network. And with all of that, you would be earning points along with pretty much the same bandwidth that you're getting right now.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, if someone comes in and starts watching Netflix at the shop, I can see that slowing us down. But I don't think that's a problem that you guys kind of need to solve. That's on the provider of I guess the person paying the internet bill is making sure that
is sort of true. But as I mentioned, like if you're a merchant and you want to restrict the bandwidth of the open roaming network and you want to see how much speed and how much data you want to provide to them, you can pretty much do that with the Metablox router.
Cool. And then I guess the other cool thing with Wi-Fi is it's a global standard, so there's not a specific place that you guys are, or location you guys are targeting, or is there? Are you kind of really aiming to get into, I think you said the Philippines or North America, or like what are you aiming for?
So we are trying to make it as global as possible, just so that people all around the world would have access to the Metablox miners and would be able to use a network. However, we still want to focus on countries, on the cities. That's our focus, is urban area. And I think our miners are a perfect solution for smart cities. Just because imagine a perfect world where you would go into downtown and you just go from all around downtown, and everywhere you have free Wi-Fi with a high quality, and you don't need to reconnect. So every time when I try to explain to people how open roaming works, I always say, "Oh, just imagine how you go into the library or airport, and when you go from one side of the airport to another, you don't need to reconnect your phone, right? You just go." And imagine the same thing, but all around the town. And I think it's a pretty convenient solution for places that need internet all the time. So like cities, and by providing like solution and the benefits to all the parties, we kind of create a platform that is good for everyone and is useful.
It's neat. So, I mean, I guess the hard question there is that I've got Verizon everywhere I go in San Diego, unless I'm in like some valley, way away from the city, like I fly somewhere and land somewhere in a paraglider. I've got coverage. So I know that's a hard question, but like, what's the advantage
It's
for
it
me
is
having Verizon
actually an
versus
easy
this?
question, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So it is super interesting because you said Verizon. So if
Yep.
somebody who uses AT&T, they would not be able to get on your network, I'm assuming, right? So in a sense, only Verizon users can open that open roaming network, and it is sort of centralized and it's limited for the users to use. What we're trying
Sure.
to create is we're trying to build a network that's open for everybody and open for anybody who just has access to Wi-Fi. So you don't have to be a customer of one particular company. You just have to be having the Metablox app, and then you can just roam around and get Wi-Fi network coverage almost everywhere wherever we build the network. So
Cool.
that is our main goal here, to decentralize the power and make sure the users get more network throughout the city or throughout the area where they live.
Interesting. Cool. Wow. I mean, I think it happens like once you have coverage everywhere, and until there, it's a difficult thing. I guess the last question I've got on this stuff for now is kind of the intro to Metablox videos. How are you guys handling governance? I think, it could be viewed as that you're kind of trading one thing for another. You're trading Verizon for Metablox, but there's still this centralized entity that's running the whole thing. How are you guys managing governing that?
So part of our government works through community, as well as we have our NFTs, and the people who have NFT, they have special rights.
Mm-hmm.
So when something is happening, like something important, we always think what's the opinion of the community. We create a
Yep.
polls and we ask what should we do next. Um,
Yep.
but also, but what's one thing what's important always for us is the growth of the project. So
Sure.
when like in an everyday task um, we take decisions by ourselves just for sake of the project, just to make it work. So the
Yep.
government works with the community, as well as with a project management.
Huh. Cool. Super cool. All right. I think that's probably a good overall view of what's going on. I will make sure there's a link down in the description so people can pick one of these up and try it out for themselves. Is there anything else that you guys want to share? I see you got the links up on the screen. Anything else you want to put out there?
Yeah, just make sure you follow Metablox on all the social platforms for the latest update. As I mentioned, there's a sale going on for the miner, and we have an upcoming TG and IDO, so stay tuned.
Awesome. Super, guys. Thanks so much for coming on. RJ and Jack, good to talk to you from Metablox. Make sure that if you're watching this and you haven't already, hit the like or subscribe button so that we get more great guests and shows like this out to you. I think that wraps it. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Nick.
so
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.